Good morning to all, and welcome to the October 3rd, 2020 information meeting. At this time, I'll ask Tommy Oakley for the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning giving thanks for this beautiful fall day. We again, Lord, thank you for all of our many blessings we have been given. Lord, we ask that you watch over and guide each and every one of us. Help us to grow with open hearts and open minds. Lord, again, we ask that you watch over our sick and our nation to help keep us on the path to your glory. Lord, we know all things are possible through Christ. Amen.
Now, if everyone will stand, Mike Botcher will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Mike. Now, once again, it is my pleasure to introduce your board of directors, starting with Grace Otten, your vice president, Scott Hopkins, your secretary, Mark Solomon, our treasurer, Ruth Ann Alexander, Dan Blackwell, Mike Bochner, Bill Scarenz, Tommy Oakley, and myself, Waylon Bean. I have the pleasure of serving as your president for this year. Next item will be the financial report by Mark Solomon. Mark, your speaker is muted, Mark.
How's that? Better? Okay.
Better. Thank you.
Just want to let you know the September financials are not complete. Some of the revenue numbers have come through, but not the expenses. That'll be reconciled later. So this is essentially the August numbers, except for the utilities and TV internet collected through September was $3,559,726.62 of the $3,539,056 forecasted for the budget of 2020. Initiation fees collected through September are $383,549.03 of the $157,500 forecasted for 2020. The August financials are complete with total revenue through August was $4,535,092.03 at 94.3% of the annual budget. Total expenses through August were $2,989,760.80 at 61.4% of the annual budget. Annual dues, including utilities and TV internet collected through August, were $3,541,547.62 of the $3,539,056 forecasted in the budget of 2020. Reserves for 2020 were adjusted to $2,496,916. This was an increase of $617,543 over the 2019 level. As of August 31st, 2020, we have $3,140,000 invested in CDs in 13 banks and $181,526.11 principal in Ginnie Mae's, with 100% of that principal guaranteed. In the insured deposit program, we have $759,419.97. The financial condition of Linville Land Harbor continues to be very sound. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. General Manager report, Scott Carpenter.
Okay, thank you, Wyland. Good morning, everyone. Our landscape crew has created a wonderful fall display at the front entrance again this year. We are very fortunate to have these talented employees. 2 children carrying a bucket full of flowers, and our banjo guy. And a great white pumpkin. If you've not been out to the front entrance, you should go out and stop and take some pictures of the display. I had Josh take these great pictures for this presentation. Thank you very much, Josh. Something to remember during the change of season. Treasure the transitional beauty as it restores one's heart. Okay, thank you, Josh, for that very nice video. This spring, I had a meeting with Josh Henson, who was the Cross North Fire Department Fire Chief. This department wanted to apply with the state to try to get their fire insurance rating lowered for their district. All of Land Harbor is in the Cross North Fire Department district. We were currently listed as a 7/9E rating. The fire department, along with their operations staff, visited each fire hydrant in Land Harbor for a hydrant flow test. We also provided them information on the location of all of their fire hydrants and the type of water line the hydrant was attached to. The state lowered the rating to a 5/9E. Beginning November 1st, all homeowners should see a decrease in your homeowner's insurance. If you don't, you should contact your insurance and let them know of this new rating. This is a letter from the department received from the North Carolina Department of Insurance and the State Fire Marshal's Office. Water well number 7. This is the well that was completely reworked in November of 2019 after 32 years of being in operation with no major problems with the pump or motor. Shortly after installation, the shaft sheared and the pump had to be pulled and the shaft replaced. Then the pump failed and once again it had to be pulled and the pump was replaced. This week we had pumping problems again, only to find out the motor on the pump had failed. The pump had to be pulled once again. Thankfully, this has all been covered under warranty. The picture on the left is the contractor pulling the pump from the well house. The second picture shows how there is an opening in the top of the well house for the contractor to be able to work and pull the pump and piping from the well. The pump is back in operation again. This is a measurement for flooding conditions at the Highland Hills Bridge. We recently replaced this because the other one had become hard to read. The 1 foot mark at the top is 1 foot from the bottom of the bridge. The staff uses this to make decisions during flooding conditions. This is not a current picture of the lake. It is from the silt release at the end of July this year. As of Tuesday, September 29th, North Carolina Division of Water Quality still has not determined whether a penalty will be assessed to Grandfather Golf and Country Club. We have added this sign at the Point Pavilion. With the opening in the fence that we paved this spring, we need to keep this area open for those who may need it to enter the walking path by wheelchair or other assistance they may need. Please help those who may need this by only using this area for loading and unloading and then park in the parking area. The patio grill hours have been updated to Monday through Wednesday, we're open from 11 to 2 p.m., Thursday through Sunday, 11 to 5 p.m. And once again, we thank you for your continued patronage. We have added a handicap parking space closer to the patio grill to assist those who need it. You will find this facing the golf course near where the watering hole is. If you visited the 50th Anniversary Museum last year, you would remember all the pictures the committee put together for us. After all their hard work, it was a shame not to find a place to display some of the pictures. The committee has worked putting these pictures together this year. The pictures here are displayed in the POA office lobby. Others are being placed in the recreation complex and other areas inland harbor. These are the pictures laid out before placing them on the first wall. This is after placing on the first wall, thanks to our operations crew. And this is the layout for the second wall in the POA office. And that's the completed product. There will be signage placed at the top of both walls showing what time frame the pictures are. I would like to thank the 50th Anniversary Committee again for their dedication to this project. I want to recognize and thank our 2020 deadheaders for the year. Sarah Grassman headed the group this year, provided me the names of her crew. As you have seen all the beautiful flowers around Land Harbor, they have once again done a great job keeping them deadheaded and looking beautiful. We normally have a picture of the group. However, this year we were unable to get one. The 2020 deadheaders for this year were Steve Berkey, Franca Nichols, Desiree Ackerman, Jane Falkenberger, Jane Arnaud, Terry Hauser, Kristen Heckel, Carolyn Wigness, Kay Schumann, Sue Chapin, Kathy Cake, Kathy May, Sue Ulrich, Adele Singletary, Lynn Chalice, Arlene and Bob Weiner, Rick and Diane Cunningham, Flo McGakian, and Sarah Grassman. Some volunteer on certain days and others have sections close to their home where they plant and maintain the area. This next slide was taken last year before COVID-19, so no social distancing or masks were used. I hope everyone has a safe winter season. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott Carpenter. At this time, Scott Hopkins will review our October 2nd regular board meeting.
Thank you. Good morning. Members present by video conference were Waylon Bean, President, Grace Auten, Vice President, Scott Hopkins, Secretary, Mark Solomon, Treasurer, Ruth Ann Alexander, Bill Scaringe, and our 3 new board members who are attending their first board meeting, Jan Blackwelder, Mike Betcher, and Tommy Oakley. Also present were Scott Carpenter, the General Manager, Amy Holden, Business Manager, Susan Cirilla, Recording Secretary, Paul Johnson, President of the Fishing Committee, and Michael Hobbs, Community Development Center. Coordinator, pardon me. Waylon Bean called a meeting to order at 9 o'clock and welcomed attendees to the 6th virtual board meeting at Linville Land Harbor. He directed members to raise their hands and wait for acknowledgement before speaking, and he noted that voting would be done by a show of hands. The invocation was offered by Tommy Oakley, and the Pledge of Allegiance was led by Mike Butcher. Approval of the agenda changes. The agenda was adjusted by moving 8A to 8B and inserting a new 8A, approval of charter for long-term committee. A new number was added, 12G. It's a special ballot seeking approval for the board to attempt to sell 33 non-contiguous acres of land. The motion passed unanimously. The approval of the minutes. Minutes of the previous meetings have been forwarded to all board members. Minutes for September 11th, 2020 regular meeting, the September 12th, 2020 annual meeting, and the September 12th, 2020 organizational meeting were individually approved following motions by board members and seconds. All three sets of minutes were unanimously approved. Waylon Bean, POA Board President, announced that Linville Land Harbor Board meetings shall be in accordance with the most recent edition of Robert's Rules of Order, the newly revised 12th edition. Property owners' inputs and concerns. Grace Alton read 13 letters received from LH property owners. The topics were a wish to provide input into revised rental rules, concern about dead trees, any possible fines for Grandfather Golf and Country Club for silt in Linville River, feral cats and loose running dogs, routine special police patrols, stop sign violators, reopening the Meadows gates, ? Drop-off locations for property owners removing limbs or branches, a list of those property owners in arrears, employment of outside contractors to help with brush removal, speeding and speed bumps, road conditions on Lakeview and water on the walking trail, potentially dangerous trees near the road by the back entrance. Each of these was addressed by our General Manager, Scott Carpenter. Financial. Mark Solomon provided an up-to-date financial report, including income, expenses, and financial reserve sums. The financial conditions of LLH continues to be very sound. Community development. Michael Hobbs had 3 items for the board. A CDC approved variance request 2.5 feet into a 9-foot setback from Fay Perry of 78 Ivy Road. This was unanimously approved by the board. Number 2, an annual adoption of the Unified Developmental Regulations, unanimously approved. An update on the unkempt property ad hoc committee was presented by Ruth Ann Alexander. She reported the owners of 12 properties have received a registered letter regarding the condition of their properties. 7 have acknowledged the letter and 5 have brought their properties up to standards. Ruth Ann thanked Michael Hobbs for his tolerance, patience, and support of this endeavor. Committees. To appoint standing committees and ad hoc committees. The board unanimously approved the charter of the Long-Term Planning Committee, a committee reestablished by the board. The make of each committee, including officers, was delineated. Also recognized were the members of each committee who finished their terms this past year. Grace suggested some editorial changes on the list of standing ad hoc committees, and the list was unanimously approved by the board. Policies and procedures. R&R 16, signs in Linville Land Harbor. The proposed policy and procedure, which had been approved by the LLH attorney, defines a sign, defines a political sign, and defines election day. During discussion, following a motion and a second to accept the changes, an amendment allowing residents to rotate signs as long as only one sign was displayed at a time, and another amendment requiring owner permission were approved by a 5-3 vote and added to the original motion, which was approved by a 6-2 vote. Personnel, 22, employees' eligibility for use of Land Harbor facilities. Employees' immediate family may purchase an annual or daily fishing permit as well. Immediate family was identified by Paul Johnson as being spouse, parents, children, and grandchildren. This was passed unanimously. Personnel 28, bartering, labor, and/or services for goods, complimentary fees. Unless approved on record by the general manager, Linville Harbor managers will not enter into any agreement with an individual or business so that the individual or business receives goods or other complimentary items in exchange for the labor or services called bartering. This does not include volunteering or volunteers. This was passed unanimously. Unfinished business. As you may recall, last month we worked on the definition of a fire pit and all that, and it's all been taken care of. We're not going to re-examine it. All we're doing is combining number 4 and 5 into 1, 4, and then we're renumbering from 5 onward. This change was unanimously approved. New business, we approved a list of authorized check signers. We approved a proposed 2021 meeting schedule, including an information meeting. Interest to be charged on past due accounts, which is 8%. We did the rate sheets for fishing. It was unanimously accepted as proposed. The racket club was accepted, except it proposed that all initiation fees for all members of the racket club be the same. That was passed. The proposed amendment to change fees for associate members did not pass. Golf is read by Scott Carpenter. Following discussion was unanimously approved. The boat rack as proposed, the price is determined by your location, was unanimously approved. RV storage as proposed, the size determines the cost, was unanimously approved. Rental guest family member authorization form, just the form, it was unanimously approved. Wayland set the date for the Land Harbor Charity Golf Tournament, which is September the 7th, 2021, with a rain date of September the 7th, 2021. This was unanimously approved. Long Range Racket Club proposal status. The long range plan is with the general manager. Once additional information is attained, starting next week, any board action will be determined by the recommendation of the general manager and if the proposed cost allows board action. Property owners will have the opportunity to vote on selling non-contiguous land, approximately 33 acres, with an estimated market value of between $85,000 and $100,000. There's an information meeting tomorrow, and we adjourned at 11:28.
Thank you, Scott Hopkins. Very comprehensive report. Questions and answers from our members. Grace will read those.
Okay. Thank you to the members who have submitted comments. I'm sure you would rather be here in person. I will do my best to represent you in these letters, and hopefully in the future you will be able to attend in person. Starting with the first of 3, we have Alan Middleton of 22 Whispering Pine Loop. This is not a question, but a positive comment. Thank you for the gravel golf cart parking area at the low bridge. It allows all to enjoy this beautiful part of our river. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Middleton, for your positive comment. We always like to get those.
Next, we have Jan Paul Aldrich of 1903 Land Harbor and address 261 Knoll Circle. When are the roads in Harbor Lake Hills ever going to get repaved? We always seem to be the forgotten neighborhood on the other side.
Thank you, Jan Paul. Thank you, Jan Paul Aldrich, for your concern. Each spring, all the roads are checked to see which ones need patching or repaving. When this is done, we take into consideration the amount of traffic that the road has. I will take a close look at Harbor Lake Hills in the spring in 2021. Thank you.
Third, we have Bill Gatlin of 240 Rhododendron Loop. The Racket Club proposes to make Land Harbor into a public park for pickleball, allowing unlimited non-resident membership and adding 50 to 100 cars per day in our neighborhoods. Does putting a growing activity, if it is not a fad, in a limited space with sound and traffic issues make sense? Scott?
Mr. Gatlin, thanks for your concern. The Racket Club long-range plan will be addressed at a special board meeting in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. That completes our agenda for the information meeting. I just have a couple of comments. Scott Hopkins, if you would check your notes, the request to sell property was for 30 acres. I thought I heard you say 33 acres. It's actually 30.48 acres.
Okay, you're correct. I wrote down 33. I guess I wasn't listening, so I will change that to 30. I will change
No
it.
problem. Another clarification was the charity golf tournament. The date is September 17th with a rain date of the 24th.
Yeah, let's see what I said. No, I had both dates the same. But very, okay, thank you.
All right.
Typo
No
there,
problem.
lazy fingers.
All right,
Okay,
unless there's anything else, I would just like to say that hopefully our next meeting in May, our next regularly scheduled meeting in May, it will be face to face. Until then, God bless, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the spring. And thank you, board members.